in this video, I want to walk through how to use low budget AI meta ads to grow any marketing agency or coaching business to 10K per month, 100K per month, or even $1 million a month plus in the next 90 days or less for as little as $400 per month. And for some context on me really quick before I go into it, my name's Kai Bax, and just so you know, I've actually done what I'm talking about here. I started in the industry 7 years ago at 17 years old. And by the time I turned 18, I hit my first 100K month with my e-commerce marketing agency. And then I transitioned into a coaching business and scaled that to 250K a month because I thought the only way to scale was through coaching. I was wrong on that, but I did it anyway. And then now I'm the CEO of a done-for-you hybrid consulting marketing company, which does about $1 million per month in revenue, as you can see here. And on top of that, more importantly, right now, I'm spending 150K per month, give or take, on my own ads, which generate my own sales team 300 to 500 qualified sales calls per month at between $250 to $300 cost per qualified booked call for our back-end high-ticket 20K offer. And you can see that spend right here is split between a couple of accounts. Needless to say, it's extremely profitable. And more importantly, this is the thing. We've been able to replicate this across hundreds of other coaches, consultants, and agencies over the past 4 to 5 years, including some of the biggest names in the industry, such as Russ Ruffino, 7 Mile Media, Grow AI, Ecom Capital, Phase One Ventures, The Draw Shop, Lifelike Media, among thousands of others. For example, one of our clients here, Matt, has closed $611,000 so far in his first 57 days of running his ads. Last month, Nate and his sales team had 130 showed up sales calls. They closed 42 new clients and did 272K in revenue, again, from the same low budget AI meta ads. Paul, same again, 276K in new cash collected in his first 90 days of working with us. This was an older screenshot. This time he'd only done 256, but same. Jason did 90K last week, cash collected, and is on pace to do 500K this month with his B2C coaching offer. Jorge closed 8 new clients at 25K per client, totaling 200K in new revenue closed in the first 16 days of this month. Steven's consistently doing 70K profit per week with his B2B consulting business. And last week he did 13 closes. James from the Ecom Boss scaled from 50K a month to 20K a month in his first 30 days of running these low budget ads for his high ticket B2C coaching offer. Blake from the Agency Collective closed 14 new clients at 9K per client in the first 20 days of this month, totaling 100K in new MRR for his B2C coaching offer. Summer closed 6 new deals just last week with 47K in cash collected for her coaching business. Again, that was just last week. Jacob here has collected 75K cash with 125K in contracted revenue this month from only 5K in ad spend, as you can see here. And not to mention, on top of all of that, you can see here on our Trustpilot, we have 300 plus reviews with a 4.8 star rating. And in total, right now, we have 550 active clients, all spending in aggregate between 4 and 5 million per month in ad spend. And on average, across the board, in every single industry, whether you're a coach, agency, consultant, whatever it is, we are able to get qualified booked calls onto your calendar for under $300 per call, day in and day out. And by the way, the $300 cost per call number is like max. Most of our clients, if I'm being honest, is between 50 and 150 cost per qualified book call. But we always like to say 300 just to kind of overshoot it and always look at worst case scenario. I don't want to, sell you on a pipe dream, sell you on best case. I want to sell you on worst case. If that makes sense, then of course, best case is just a bonus, right? Now, guess what? Here's the thing. Getting into the training here, despite working with hundreds of clients who are all a mix between coaches, consultants, agencies, despite them all being in drastically different industries, from high-ticket B2B, SaaS, e-com, AI companies, local B2B, etc., all the way through to mass B2C industries like fitness, marriage consulting, biz op, career up offers, leadership consulting, and again, everything in between, and with price points ranging from 3 to 5K all the way through to our high-ticket B2B clients who charge 50 to 100K. Despite that range, we implement the same 3 steps for every single client that we work with. So no matter if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner in B2C or B2B, doing 5K a month or 500K a month, if you want to fill your calendar with back-to-back qualified sales calls every single day and ensure every call you book is pre-qualified, pre-sold, and ready to buy on the very first call. Number 2, you want to close 3 to 10 new high-ticket clients per week who are all perfect fits for your product or service. And number three, you want to scale your revenue to 100K a month, 500K a month, or even $1 million a month plus, depending on, of course, where you're starting at. Then there are only 3 things you need to do to get your low budget AI meta ads set up and scaling you to 100K, 500K, or $1 million a month plus. So, number 1, you need an offer that converts an ice cold stranger in your target market into a ready to buy qualified sales call on autopilot. This I cannot stress enough. You see, people think an offer is simply a promise or a guarantee of some kind, right? That's what's been pushed in the marketplace. That's what everybody talks about. However, that's incorrect, in my opinion. An offer has 6 key components that nobody talks about, which are just as important, if not more important, than the promise you make. Now, here's why we start with the offer. If you've ever seen any of my content in the past, if you check out my YouTube, I've got hundreds of videos on there. In a lot of those videos, I talk about the importance of the offer. But the reason I constantly stress the importance of a strong offer, which again, isn't just about the promise, is simply because the quality and quantity of your sales calls is 100% determined by the quality of your offer. In other words, every single time I see somebody running ads and they come to me and they say, hey, my ads are not working, the reason it's not working 100% of the time is because their offer doesn't align with who they want to book in a call. And so by extension, they only get unqualified calls for a very high cost. That's what happens 100% of the time. And not only does the offer determine the quality and quantity of the sales calls you book, but also, of course, by extension, the quality of your clients that you'll be working with on a day-to-day basis is also predetermined by the quality of your offer. Now, here's the thing. If you are currently relying on organic or referrals, you don't need an offer because you are the offer. In other words, prospects book a call with you through organic or referrals because they want to work with you. They're sold on you, right? And in either case, whether it's organic or referrals, the point at which a prospect books a call with you is the point at which they're ready to buy from you. You know, when somebody books in, you know, if you've got a following of some kind, if you're a coach and you've got some kind of following, your audience is going to be consuming your content. They'll kind of know that you've got some other, you know, you've got a high ticket offer of some sort, but they'll just keep consuming your content until one day they go, okay, I'm now ready to move forward with X person, with you. Let me go ahead and take the next steps. What are the next steps? The next steps are to book in a call with you. So again, you got to remember in that instance, you are the offer. And when they book the call, they're already sold because they wouldn't have otherwise have booked the call. Now, the problem with that is that it limits you to only being able to sell to people who know you and are a perfect fit for your product or service. That audience is obviously very small. This makes your pool of potential clients extremely small, hence why you may be struggling to scale. The only solution is to be able to convert a cold stranger into a high ticket client, as that market is limitless. That is where you have infinite scale. However, here's the thing, with cold prospects, instead of them already liking and wanting to hear from you, you are typically, with cold prospects, you're typically interrupting their day and they don't want to hear from you. That's the problem. They don't care about you specifically, right? They care about themselves. They care about what's in it for them. And so instead of you being the offer, instead of you being the attraction, we need to create something external from you, which speaks to your market's pre-existing desires, because that is all they care about. So this is where the offer comes into play, because again, I've got an image down here with organic and people who know you, whether that's again organic, referrals, whatever it may be. You can put things out into your audience, whether that be content, whether that be messages, whether that be asking your current clients for referrals, whatever it is. And it goes to an organic audience, an audience of people who already know you. Problem with that audience is it's very, very small, and it takes a very long time for it to grow in size. And so the only way your business can grow is as that audience grows. But if that audience takes a very long time to grow, it means your business is going to take a very long time to grow. However, of the people who are in that audience, they give you money, they become clients because they want to work with you. Nice and simple. Whereas with cold prospects, you are not of interest to the market. So instead, what we have to do is we have to use something external to you, which is built on your market's pre-existing desires, which is the offer. And we put that out into the marketplace. The easiest way to get that out into your marketplace is through running these low budget AI meta ads, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do here in just a minute. So we use these low budget AI meta ads to get the offer out into the marketplace. The marketplace, bear in mind, is cold prospects. And if the offer can convert a cold prospect, a cold stranger in your industry, into a high ticket client, well, now you have infinite scale because there's infinite strangers in your industry, right? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people, no matter what industry you're in, you're going to have thousands of ideal clients. And so if you can build an asset, an offer that can convert those strangers into high ticket clients, the demand for your service is going to far outweigh your supply, which means you're not going to have a demand generation problem. You're going to have a supply or a fulfillment problem, which is another problem that we can, of course, solve. But if you need more clients, this is how you do it. This is my point. Now, here's the thing. When you create an offer of this kind that's genuinely built on your market's pre-existing desires, if you do it correctly and you present them with something that they genuinely want, you can also, as a byproduct, increase your prices to 10K, 15K, or even 20K plus, whether you're B2B or B2C. And at the same time, you can increase your close rate, which means much more profit for you. For example, if you take 10 calls and close 30% of them on a 5K offer, that's pretty good numbers, right? You make 15K from 10 calls, not too bad. However, if you take 10 calls and close at 60% on a 12K offer, you have an exponential effect on your profit. In this case, you would make 72K from the same 10 calls. So you take 10 calls in both instances. One scenario, you make 15K. The second scenario, you make 72K. This is why our client results are so much crazier than anyone else in our industry. It's because we jack up our clients' close rate, we jack up their price points, and we jack up the volume of sales calls they actually take. So in our case, we'll get our clients to this point, and then instead of them taking 10 calls, we make them take 100 calls, or we get their sales team to take 100 calls through the low budget AI ads that I'm going to show you here in a minute. So when you combine all those forces together, you have an exponential effect on your profit. And then when you look at this and you're like, okay, my goal is to hit 100K a month or 500K a month, it actually almost becomes easy in a way. And it is easy. So just to put a bow on offers here, put differently, we use offers as proxies to motivate strangers to book a call on your calendar at scale. This is why we need to knock this out on day one, because otherwise, if this is off, again, like I was saying before, the offer determines the quality and the quantity of sales calls you generate. So if you have a bad offer, the quality of your sales calls is going to be low and the quantity is going to be low, which means your costs are going to be through the roof. And that's why most people, when they run ads, or they've said about, maybe you've tried running ads in the past, it's never worked, costs are high, quality is bad, etc. It's because the offer is off, period. And when built correctly, this is the other good thing about building offers in the correct way. When built correctly, you can ride that same offer all the way to 100K a month, 500K a month, or even $1 million a month plus. So for example, again, we drink our own Kool-Aid. Everything I would ever say to you, everything we say to our clients, everything we do for our clients, we first battle tested ourselves internally. And so the offer that I built for our own company on day one, when I was at zero with this new business, is the same offer that scaled us all the way to $1 million a month. And it's the same offer that I use today. The same goes for one of our clients, Vicarious Agency. They joined us at zero. Okay, through this acquisition channel. I built them an offer with this same framework on day one, and they rode that offer all the way to 10K per day, or about 300K per month, which is where they now sit. So when done correctly, you can scale this offer to, again, 100K a month, 500K a month, $1 million a month plus, wherever it is that you want to get to. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to get locked in. Now, let's go into step two. This should be step two. For some reason, it says one. There we go. Okay, so number two is scaling your sales calls with low budget AI meta ads. So everyone thinks running paid ads to sign high ticket clients is expensive, difficult, and not beginner friendly. And they also think that even if you do get bookings or sales calls, etc., through the ads, they think the leads are just in general not interested. They're too cold, don't have trust, and they're too difficult to close. And number three, they don't have any money to pay for your high ticket prices. However, after spending between $4 to $5 million per month in ad spend for hundreds of coaches, consultants, and agency owners, again, in every industry you can imagine, and spending $150K on top of this out of my own pocket every single month, on the same ads and funnels that we run for our clients, right? Again, we actually drink our own Kool-Aid. I can say with confidence that ads do work if they are ran in the correct way. I mean, you know, right? Facebook is one of the most valuable companies in the world. And the only way Facebook makes money is through advertising. It's through advertisers running ads on their platform, paying them money to run ads on their platform. If Facebook are in, I don't know where they rank in terms of annual earnings, but let's say they're in the top 50 companies in the entire world, and the only way they make their money is through advertising revenue. Well, it's safe to assume, don't you think, that ads do work? Because if they didn't work, no one would pay Facebook to run ads, right? Yet Facebook's earnings every single year continue to compound and compound and compound. The only way they make their money is through advertising revenue. So of course, ads do work, of course, but the issue is if you've ran ads in the past or you've got friends who have ran ads that it didn't work, the issue is that ads you ran didn't work. It's not that ads don't work, it's just that the ads that you ran or the way you ran the ads in the past didn't work. That's the harsh reality. But it's a good thing because it means that ads do work, you just don't know how to run the right ads. If you've tried them in the past and they didn't work, of course, right? That being said, you are watching this video at the best time in the history of Meta ads. And the reason why is because every single day that passes, Meta's AI algorithm is becoming smarter and smarter and smarter. Actually, Mark Zuckerberg just did a huge talk at, I don't know what conference it was, but it was a big conference. He just did a massive talk where he explained Meta's new AI advertising system and platform and algorithm that they have. And it has completely changed the game. So much so that we are already seeing the effects of their new AI play out on our ad accounts, on our clients' ad accounts. Basically, that's a long way to say right now is easier than ever, again, in the history of running ads. Right now, it's easier than ever to run ads profitably. Since Meta's AI literally does all of the heavy lifting for you. And just to put into perspective how much heavy lifting Facebook actually does for you, we don't even do any targeting anymore for 90% of our clients, including our own ad accounts. So on the ad accounts that I showed you before, where we're spending $150K a month up here, these ad accounts here, we don't do any targeting. These are going to completely broad audiences. And what we're doing is we're relying on Meta to do all of the heavy lifting for us. So really all you need to do is provide Meta with the right inputs, which is really just the ad side of things, and they take care of the rest for you. They go out to their user base of 3 billion people and pair up your ads with those who are most likely to convert using their ever improving AI, which also again means it's going to become only easier and easier and easier and easier to run ads and get great results. So as you can see in here, all we focus on are literally just these couple inputs here, which, as I said before, in step 1, because we created an offer that's focused specifically on your market's pre-existing desires, all we need to do is package that up into a nice, easy ad, which we have all the playbooks. I'll show you in a minute exactly how to use these playbooks yourself. Just copy paste them into your own business. Literally, that's all you need to do. We've already tested all the ads. We know exactly what works, what doesn't work. So you can just copy paste the stuff that works. We can just simply package up your offer into a very, very simple and basic ad. We give that to Facebook, and then they take that ad through their internal AI, which again is constantly improving on a daily basis. And then they simply pair that up with the prospects who are most likely to convert in a high ticket sales call. And because of that, as well as the strength of your offer, that essentially guarantees the users Meta shows your ads to will book a call onto your calendar and they will be qualified. And remember, Meta only makes money if you make money. If they show your ads to low quality traffic, you won't make any money and you'll stop advertising to them. Believe it or not, Meta understands that. They know that. And so as long as you provide the right inputs and those inputs genuinely speak to your exact ideal client, Meta does the rest of the work for you. Now, here's the thing though. Most people, what they do at this point is they will send the traffic that Meta gives them straight to a sales call. That, in my opinion, is a huge mistake, because that's when you run into issues of trust, low close rates, and low quality prospects in general. That's why most people don't like cold traffic, because there's no trust, etc. So what we do instead is we turn our cold traffic into referral-like bookings instantly, so that we get the benefit of only selling to someone who already knows us without the cons of building a personal brand or relying on referrals. So the pros here is that they're already sold on you since they already know they want to work with you. They know, like, and trust you before you ever speak to them. And this is the big thing, they know the price before you speak with them. Meaning if they show up to the call, it's pretty much a guaranteed close because they already know all the details on what it is that you do, how you help your clients, and what your pricing looks like and how your pricing works. So by the time they show up to the sales call, they've kind of already been sold. All you need to do is process their card. That is how we are so profitable on our cold traffic, because our sales team only speaks to prospects who are already sold. Now, here's the thing. Most people only experience those pros, those benefits of, having people who are already bought into you, they already know, like, and trust you. The only way they can experience that is by building a large following or relying on referrals, etc., which has obviously massive cons, such as it takes years to build a big audience. You can't scale since you're not in control of your client acquisition. And of course, it's extremely inconsistent. So what we do instead is we simply manufacture the know, like, and trust factor, meaning we turn a complete stranger into a ready-to-buy client with the click of a finger before you speak to them. It also turns your ads into a referral-like quality sales call machine, meaning instead of booking sales calls, again, with prospects who, they've just seen an ad from you, they click, they show up to the call and they're like, oh, I just saw an ad, I just want to know what you guys do. Obviously, to close that prospect is very, very, very difficult. On the flip side, if you get a similar sales call booked, but actually the prospect shows up and says, yeah, I saw XYZ piece of content. I saw that you guys do ABC. I love what it is that you do. I can see that you guys can really genuinely help me. I know how your pricing works. It all sounds good to me. I just want to ask you a couple questions. I just want to see what exactly will this look like for me. Obviously, that second sales call is much easier to close. And when I was talking before about closing 60% plus of the, if you take 10 calls, you close 60% of them on a 12K offer. Of course, to close 60%, you need to, be good at sales, which is the third point here I'm going to get into. But also a big reason why we can close at 40 to 60% of the live sales calls that we take on higher ticket offers in this case is simply because we do so much pre-selling that by the time that prospect reaches one of our salespeople or one of our closers, or if it's just yourself at the moment, you don't need a sales team. If it's just you taking the calls, well, by the time that prospect gets to you and you're speaking to them, they've already gone through a multi-step process that has, again, pre-qualified them and pre-sold them. So really all you need to do is just walk them through a very, very simple, what we call reverse sales playbook, which I'm going to get into, which gets them across the line, gets them to pay you in full there and then inside of one 45-minute sales call. That is the key to cracking cold ads at scale, which also on top of all of that, as you can imagine, it also eliminates the usual objections of, I only just met you guys, so I need to do more due diligence. Can you send me a proposal? Can you send me a client, referral? Can I speak to one of your current clients? Can I see more results? As well as the objections of, this is too expensive. I don't have the money. Let me think about it. All those objections that everybody hates to get, you completely eliminate them by pre-selling them before you ever speak to them. Okay. Now, the final step number 3, in order to scale to 10K a month, 100K a month, or $1 million a month plus through low budget Meta AI ads is to use what we call a reverse sales playbook to close, as I said, 40 to 60% of strangers into a high ticket offer. Now, once you launch your low budget AI ads, you will 100% start immediately filling out your calendar with qualified sales calls. And again, to reiterate, it's that instant, okay? If you do it correctly. The moment you launch your ads, your calendar will start filling up. Literally, if you launch today, from tomorrow onwards, your calendar will start to fill up with qualified sales calls. It's not like organic where it takes years to build, or cold outreach where it's a slow burn, or referrals where it's inconsistent. Ads are instant and consistent from day one when done correctly. However, this is the thing. It's completely useless to have your calendar packed with qualified sales calls if you cannot close them. Now, despite generating these calls that are referral-like quality and are already pre-sold on our product or service before we ever speak to them, obviously that's the goal. However, my mindset always with our current team and our clients, and again, this is why we get such eye-watering results, is because we treat every sales call from the sale perspective, okay? Not marketing perspective, but the selling perspective on the sales call. We treat those prospects as if they have no idea who we are and they don't know how we can help them. And so given that's our mindset, we've developed what we call a reverse sales playbook, which is designed specifically to convert someone who doesn't know who you are into a high ticket client on one 45-minute sales call. Now, just to touch on this point real quick, from the marketing aspect, from, to generate the sales call, the mindset should be, I need to pre-sell this person before they ever get onto the call. So then that way, when they show up, they're already pre-sold. However, from the sales perspective, you should have a system that can, if needed, convert somebody who doesn't know who you are, who doesn't like you, who doesn't care for you, and you can convert that prospect into a high ticket client. So then that way, when you combine them both together, you're getting people show up to the sales call who already are pretty much bought in, and you are applying a sales process that can convert a cold stranger into a high ticket client. Anyway, you combine that to somebody who's already bought in. Guess what happens? Your close rate shoots through the roof, and your pricing power drastically increases. In other words, you can drastically increase your price and increase your close rate all at the same time, which, like I was showing you before, that's where you get the exponential effect on the net profit that you make at the end of every single month. And it's how you can run low budget ads, not high daily ad spend, yet still scale to 10K a month, 100K a month, or $1 million a month plus. Now, in the case of how we approach our sales process, it's called a reverse sales playbook, since it completely flips the usual high ticket sales process on its head. And instead of needing to hard sell your prospects, we get them to want us more than we want them. This completely flips the sales conversation and puts you in a position of authority. And so by flipping the script, so to speak, we see our clients, including ourselves, close anywhere between 40 to 60% of the sales calls that they take, who all come from cold ads on, of course, a high ticket price point. So by this point, we've built an acquisition offer that converts an ice cold stranger in your target market into a ready to buy qualified sales call on autopilot. We've packed out your calendar with qualified sales via launching our low budget AI meta ads. We've manufactured referral like quality and buy-in before you even speak with potential clients, who also already know exactly how your pricing works before they show up. And of course, we've now increased close rate to 40 to 60%. Now, this is where things get interesting, because now we can take a tiny portion of the additional monthly profit that you'll be generating and pump that right back into ads completely for free. Now, this is where things really start to fly. So for context, 3 to 4 years ago, I started running my ads at $50 a day. We have clients come to us, they start their ads at $20 a day, $30 a day, very, very low budget. And every month, in my case, when I started them at $50 a day back in the day, every month since then, I've simply taken a slither of my profits, okay, and I've reinvested that back into my ad spend. And today, now, as you know, as I've mentioned hundreds of times in this video, simply because we are our biggest case study. That's why I keep referencing us. It's not because, I'm trying to impress you or whatever. As I said before, everything we do for our clients, we do it ourselves, which is why I always reference our results. Again, I'm not doing it to impress you in any way. But as I said, now we've continued that reinvesting process, and now we spend $150K a month, and it was all funded by our clients. Simple. I have another client, Grow AI, where she started with us. Perfect case again. $100 a day is what she started. She was doing about $30K per month in total revenue at the time. We implemented the exact 3 steps I just walked you through, and now she's doing $850K a month. And again, it was all funded by her client. And here's what this looks like in reality. I want to show you how this actually looks, because it's such an important concept that really is the reason I've scaled to where we're at today. We scale our clients to the levels that we scale them to. It's all because of this. And if you want to scale, you want to do it in the quickest time frame possible. Trust me when I say there is no other way that will get you to your goals quicker than what I'm walking you through here. So for example, okay, let's say you launch your low budget ads, and let's say you only have even $20 a day. Okay, let's just say $20 a day, $600 a month in ad spend. Let's say this is all you can commit to when starting out your ads. Okay, that's totally fine. Depending on what your industry is, as I said earlier in the video, any client of ours usually sees between $50 and $150 cost per qualified book call. In other words, it costs our clients on average between $50 and $150 to get a qualified prospect to book in a sales call on their calendar. Okay, so let's say you're right in the middle of that range at 100. I mentioned 300 before, but that really is like worst case scenario. Let's take an average here. Let's look at $100 cost per call. Based on these numbers here, obviously, if you're spending 600, you're getting a cost per qualified call at 100. You're going to get 6 bookings per month. You might think that's really low, but watch how this plays out. Let's say of those 6 bookings, you have a 90% show up rate. Because the volume's low, 90% show up rate is very, very achievable. And remember before I said about closing at 40 to 60% because everybody's pre-qualified and you're applying a highly effective sales process to these people who are already bought in. It's not that hard to close at least 40 to 60% of them. Let's say, worst case, you're on the low end at 40%, okay? And let's say that you're actually charging on the very, very low end, whether you're a coach or an agency, whatever, obviously business model, we can apply this to your particular situation. But let's say on the very low end, you're charging $3,000, okay? Well, based on all of these numbers, which are all extremely achievable, I want to make that clear. These are the numbers that we see all day, every day, again, across hundreds of our clients. These are not out of the ordinary in any way, shape, or form. Based on these numbers, month one on $600 ad spend, you're going to collect roughly, if we achieve these numbers, $6,500 in revenue from the $600 ad spend, okay? So month one, all you need to do in this case is commit to $600 a month in ad spend. If you can do that and we hit these numbers downstream, which again, all very achievable, $6,500. Now, here's where things get interesting. Next month, what we can then do is out of this new profit that you've generated from these ads, what you can now do is take a slither of that profit and reinvest it directly back into ads, like I was saying about before. And so obviously you can be as aggressive or as conservative as you want to be. It's completely up to you. You don't need to do anything that you don't want to do, right? But in this case, if I made $6,500 profit from $600 ad spend, I'm just in general more aggressive. So I would probably take ideally 70% of that profit and put it right back into ad spend next month. But let's say you want to be a little bit more conservative and you just want to take basically $1,400 of this profit. So you want to basically profit $5K, the remaining $1,400, you put it right back into ads. Well, then next month, we're going to then change our ad spend to roughly $2,000 because you're going to add the $1,400 to your existing $600 per month, $2,000. Well, now look how the numbers play out. All numbers are going to maintain the same. Oops. Here, you're going to book 20 calls. And based on this, you're going to get $21,000 a month in revenue. Now, of course, you can just simply rinse and repeat. Next month, maybe you take $5,000 out of the $21,000 profit. You profit 15, 16. You take $5,000, you put it right back into ads. Now we're looking at $7,000 per month in ad spend. And now you're at $75,000 a month, and so on and so forth. And you can see how this can then start to compound. And look, even at scale, let's say, for example, your cost per call increases to $200 and your show rate drops to 80%. Well, you're still spending, in this case, $7,000 and collecting $33,000 return. Even in that case, you can continue to rinse and repeat this process. Also, bear in mind, your price point's only $3,000 in this case. If we was able to bump that up to even $5,000, you're going to spend $7,000 and collect $56,000 in return. I mean, there's no other acquisition system out there. No matter, you see so many different new sexy methods and everyone's hyping these new ways up to get clients. Paid ads has been around forever. It will continue to be around forever. And the reason it's been around forever is because it is the easiest way to scale any business, especially our business model, agencies, coaches, and consultants, high ticket, etc. It's the easiest way to scale. And again, it's the fastest way. In this case, we just went from month one to month three. Yes, we drastically increased our spend, but we only used the profits we generated. We never spent out of pocket for the increase in ad spend. And all of a sudden we're at 56,000 from zero. Now, 56,000, let's say next month you put another 6,000 in, let's say. And by the way, again, you could just keep your ad spend at 2,000 a month if you wanted to, just continue to do whatever it was when we was at 2,000, 10,000 a month return, 15,000. That's fine. Just stay there coast and, go travel to Bali and, go live the digital nomad lifestyle. That's totally fine. Or you can be more aggressive, such as this case. And maybe this month you take 6,000 out of it. So you pocket your 50. You put 6,000 into here, now you're at 13,000. And now all of a sudden we're at 104,000 a month in revenue, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to show you that how that looks in reality and how I think about scaling, because literally once you get this system in place, that would be your reality. Now, if you are thinking, okay, all this looks great. However, how exactly do I create the perfect offer that's guaranteed to get my exact ideal clients to be interested in my product or service, even though My market is saturated with so many similar offers. Or what ad copy do I run? Or what's the best ad setup based on Meta's most recent AI updates? As I just said, they completely overhauled their entire ad account structure with new AI updates. So you may be wondering, how do you actually run ads in the new AI world? Or how do I ensure I'm getting the best cost per qualified book call and I'm not overpaying? Or how exactly do I turn sales calls from ads into referral like quality before I ever speak with them? Or how do I close a cold stranger into a high ticket client instead of one 45-minute sales call? Or how do I scale my ads without my costs blowing out of KPI so that as I increase my spend, I actually increase the volume of qualified bookings and I increase my profits alongside? If you're wondering about any of those questions and you're interested in getting this set up inside your ATO coaching business for as little as $400 per month, then I implore you to click the schedule a call here button right below this video and book in a call. The reason being, we've built thousands of acquisition offers for clients in every industry you can imagine, and we've battle tested every offer, and so we know exactly what will and what won't work. Simple. We've seen it all before, so we just know what will work, what won't work. And so instead of you guessing and trying to figure it out yourself, I'll just create the offer for you. And once I do, you can then ride that same exact offer, like I was saying earlier, all the way to 100K a month, 200K a month, or 300K a month and beyond. And remember, like I was saying, the offer I created when I was at zero is the same offer I used to scale to $1 million a month. I didn't change anything about the offer, right? And we continue to use that same offer to today. So I build offers for scale from day one, and I'll help you do the exact same thing on day one. On top of that, like I touched on as well, we manage between 4 to 5 million a month in ad spend for hundreds of coaches, consultants, and agency owners, again, in every industry you can imagine. And we spend 150K a month of our own money on top, using the same ads and funnels that we also run for our clients. So needless to say, we've perfected every aspect of launching, managing, and scaling ads that will fill your calendar with back-to-back qualified sales calls every single day like clockwork. I'll just give you the exact funnel we're using. I'll give you the exact ad templates to run. I'll tell you the exact AI audiences to set up. I'll even jump into your ad account and just tell you what buttons to click and how to set up your campaigns to ensure your ads generate consistent qualified sales calls with prospects who are ready to buy on the very first call within the first 7 days of joining maximum. And like I was showing you before, when I was saying, really, with Meta's new AI updates, all you really need to focus on to get the best results possible are these inputs on the left-hand side here. But this is what I was mentioning before, right? We already know exactly what those inputs look like for every single offer. We know what offers work. We know what the inputs look like. We know what the best ads are. We know what the best ad templates are. We know what the best funnels are. We know everything. We've already built everything. So then you can immediately start profiting from day one and start reinvesting that profit back into the ads for the next month, as we spoke about here, and start actually scaling your coaching or agency business. And on top of the ad side of things, I will also customize our reverse sales playbook for your offer and your selling style specifically so that you can actually close 40 to 60% of the sales calls that you take. And of course, through this process as well, this is where we'll also start to manufacture the know, like, and trust factor with all of the ad booking. So again, the prospects show up to the calls already knowing your price, already knowing exactly what you do, how it works, how it can benefit them, and really you just answer some final questions using this reverse sales playbook so that again you can close at 40 to 60%. And on top of that, I'll personally help you with messaging, deliverables, fulfillment, making sure you can actually deliver on the clients that you're now going to be selling. We need to be able to make sure that you can continue to deliver exceptional results to those clients so that they actually retain and ascend in the back end, because that's the true way to scale to $1 million a month plus. We'll go through pricing and offer economics, the business model itself, making sure it can actually scale, your team and hiring, making sure you can attract great talent to the company so that you can again further scale and actually remove yourself from the day-to-day operations if you want to scale to the higher ends. Of course, again, if you just want to do 10, 15K a month, you can simply use this model, not scale it, just, coast at 10 to 15K a month, 20K a month, whatever it is that you want to do. And again, you can go travel, do whatever else you want to do. But essentially, the bottom line is I'll help you with everything you need to scale to our level, which is about 10 million plus per year. Can't help you beyond that because we've not done that yet. But up until that point, we can definitely help because again, we actually drink our own Kool-Aid. Everything we tell clients, we show clients, etc., we do ourselves. Okay. So again, if this interests you, click the link right below this video and book a call with us. Now, if you are still skeptical, okay, I have something for you. So most coaches will ask you to pay 10 to 20,000 up front for you to access their quote system. And hopefully when you implement it, you get results. Maybe, maybe not. Most of the time you won't, because most of these guys don't know what they're talking about. But the problem is you take on all the risk and they collect an 10K plus pay in full, and you kind of don't get much for it. Like I said, everything I'm showing you here is stuff I'm doing already in my business and for our hundreds of clients. So I know with certainty it works. You may not know with certainty as of yet because you've not seen it work for yourself, but I can tell you with certainty it works. And so here's the thing. If you are skeptical, you want to see results before you pay, you're tight on cash, but you know this will work, you feel like you're very confident in this working, but you're tight on cash, or you're like me and you just prefer to optimize for cash flow and don't like to pay in full for things that you don't need to, then we do have an option where you can pay 90 to 100% of our fee to help you build this out after you've already implemented it and made money using it. In other words, you can implement the exact model I just explained with my direct help and add an extra 20K to 100K a month in the first 30 to 60 days of implementing it, depending on, how aggressive you want to be. And again, you can simply use a slither of that additional profit that we help you make to pay off our fee. It's a true pay in full only once you get results model. That said, okay, given it's my time that I'll be investing directly in you, I only want to work with clients who are genuinely serious about growing and you actually have some skin in the game. So I've learned the hard way that clients who don't pay attention and will never get results, which again, because it's my time, I'm going to be working with you in this thing. If you don't get results, it's just going to waste my time. It wastes your time. Nobody wins. So it's like, what's the point, right? So if this pay in full only once you get results option is of interest to you for the reasons that I mentioned above, then here's how this works in 3 super simple steps. Number 1, if you qualify, I'll let you finance our fee for roughly $400 per month, and the first payment is only due 30 days after enrolling. So you can literally get started today for $0 down. Or of course, if you want to pay with a debit card or credit card as usual, just like normal, that's totally fine as well. We have that option, whichever you prefer. Now, number 2 though, secondly, I'll then work directly with you to implement everything we spoke about, including giving you all of our swipe files, add playbooks and templates. I'll build your offer for you from the ground up on a one-on-one call when you onboard. I'll customize our reverse sales playbook for your offer and your selling style. I'll run your ads with you, holding your hand every step of the way, etc. And number 3, once you start collecting cash and profiting from this model over the next 90 days, you can simply use your earnings to pay off the rest of our fee. So if you want to join for $0 down and you can commit to worst case scenario, roughly $400 per month in 30 days from now, then you can test drive the entire program, get results with it first, then use your profits to pay the remainder of our fee. So book a call below, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.